applications for spring 2025. It is application is now open, and our first deadline is going to be coming up next week on January 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Here's a little bit on what we offer within the program. It is taught by ladder faculty and industry professionals. Courses are designed specifically for MFE students. A lot of the work is team-based. It's a great opportunity for students not only to learn from their faculty member, but also from their classmates to do assignments and projects, teaching each other, getting each other through the program. We also have opportunities within the program for students to work on independent study projects, whether it is with a faculty member or an industry professional at a particular company with a specialized topic. So great opportunities for research there for students who want to learn more about the industry outside of our curriculum. And of course, within the one-year program, we have an integrated 3-month internship period. So all of our students just came back from their internship period. Our internship period is a fall-winter internship, which takes place between mid-October to mid-January, beginning of January-ish. We help our students. We also have a 2-year option. Now, for international candidates, 2-year option would mean that you would be taking courses remotely. We do not sponsor visas. So oftentimes, international students will take the program in person. There's also opportunities for those who are already in the US, working in the industry to continue with their education by doing the part-time program. That is an option, and we do have a few in that route. Here's some information on our salaries for the class that graduated last year. We will have salary information. Typically, we don't update the salary information for a class that graduate in March until around, say, October-ish timeframe, maybe a little bit earlier, but that's usually when we will be releasing the information. Here are some of the resources we offer within our program. As you can see, we have a variety of career services resources dedicated just to MFE students, from anywhere from resume reviews, job postings that come to the program are dedicated just for our students. No other students in the university are eligible to apply for those. We are a STEM designated program, which means that international students can work in the US for an additional 24 months. We have mock interviews to help students polish their interview skills. We host a variety of workshops to brush up on their skills or skills that they might need for the industry. And then we also have job fairs that are hosted throughout the year that we partner with various departments to bring to our students. Here are some of the career opportunities. Again, I will share this in a little bit, and you can definitely take a look at it later, so no need to write anything down. And then here are some of the companies that have recently recruited, hosted practice seminars for our students, presentations for our students, and then a few of our alum who have gone through the program. And then I'm going to briefly go over the application requirement and then what it is, minimums that you need. Everyone should have a bachelor's degree equivalent to the US 4-year degree. So coming from India, you definitely will need to have a 4-year degree. You will need to take the GMAT or GRE exam. We only look at percentiles. We take the highest percentile, ideally in the 90th percentile for the quantitative section, verbal 70th percentile again. Highest score, so take the exam as many times as you need. Candidates from India will need to take the TOEFL. We unfortunately cannot waive this requirement. So you will need to take the TOEFL or the IELTS exam, just meet the minimum requirement, and that should be sufficient. We have not seen students coming from India have issues with that. 2 letters of recommendation. Letters of really choose recommenders who know you well, who knows your skill sets. Use your recommenders' work email address and not their personal. It could be 2 professors or 2 working professional who has supervised you. So any of those are fine. As I mentioned earlier, our application deadline, first one coming up, is going to be on January 18th. However, we have 3 other deadlines that are available to you. First, the next being in March, the then May, and then October 3rd will be the final deadline. Our admissions is on a rolling basis, which means is that we will begin review of your application anytime you submit it between January 18th and up until October 3rd, and even after October 3rd. Now, keep in mind, if you're going to apply after the final deadline, your application may be reviewed on a space available basis. It is encouraged that candidates apply early rather than later, because if you have many additional courses, preparation to do, you'll have more time to prepare. So it is encouraged, but it is not required. There is no specific deadline that we have for international students. So you can definitely apply up until the final round, and we have not had seen any issues there. Here are the skills that we're looking for. We want candidates with strong quant skills, strong programming skills, but specifically in Python. Some C++ is good, but the emphasis is going to be on Python. And definitely you want to have coursework in machine learning with Python is ideal. And then, of course, everyone should have the finance preparation. Here are the courses more specifically that you will need to have. When it comes to the quantitative skill sets, you have to have courses up until partial differential equations, numerical analysis, and advanced statistics courses. For the finance preparation, really just 2 courses. Any in finance, macroeconomics is recommended. And then CFA is a good preparation, but not a requirement. It is just additional preparation that you can do. And as I said already, Python, machine learning, and some C++. Now, not having all of these courses is not a problem because we will take into consideration courses that are in progress and or planned. Here is the current profile of our current students that started last year who will be graduating shortly. They're just 9 weeks away from graduating from the program. You can see the breakdown of the class. Many of our students come from a variety of STEM backgrounds, but we also have students coming from economics, finance, and other related fields. And then, of course, we have students coming from all around the world. Some financial information if you're interested in learning more. Again, this presentation will be available to you so you can take a look at it later. And then this is our program breakdown. As you can see, we have 4 different terms. After completing 3 terms, students go on an internship and then come back for their final term, as we are right now in our current program. And then here are some of the student services that we offer. There's a couple of things I want to point out is the FISA. FISA is the Financial Engineering Student Association, which all of our students will be a part of. They host a variety of activities throughout the year for students to network with each other, in addition to partnering with and working with the MFE program office to ensure that the students are satisfied with the coursework, they are satisfied with the networking opportunities that we bring to them. So FISA is the leadership group that will be working with the students on that. And then the other thing is the Women's Leadership Initiative, which is a program we have recently started. It's only about 3 years now, where we host a variety of additional events and activities for the women within the program. We have about 33% who are women. There are some activities and events that we open to all students, but they are tailored to the women in the program. And then here are some of the technology resources that we offer to our students. We have dedicated Bloombergs. We have a variety of, we have the NYSE data. We have Rotman training simulation that students can utilize. So a variety of financial databases, statistical and analytical softwares that you can utilize during your time in the program for your studies or projects that you might have. All right, and so this brings us to the conclusion of the presentation, where we have here some resources and information that you can go through, recommended books that you can read and review. We encourage, the first 2 interview books on here, resources on how you can better prepare if you are unable to take the courses, take all the prerequisite courses that during your undergraduate study. We have online resources. So this is definitely something I would say check out and please review. If you have further questions after today, please feel free to reach out to us. We have a, as I mentioned earlier, weekly office hours that you can connect with us on. You can send us an email. We're very good at responding within 24 to 48 hours. And of course, you can always give us a call if you would like, of course, within Berkeley working hours, which is typically 9 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. All right, thank you so much. And I will hand it back to Sarang here to introduce our presenters for today.
I was on mute. Thank you so much, Dan, for this wonderful presentation. We learned a little more about Berkeley's MFE program. Just one quick thing before I introduced Hariom Tasat, who's already joined here. Thank you so much for taking our time, Hariom. I'm going to also, as I quickly add him to Spotlight as well, what we'll try and do is learn a little more about the audience through another poll question that I'm going to quickly put on the screen. Very shortly, so that we want to know a little bit about your career path of interest. We've got close to 380 of you that have joined. So thanks so much for taking out time. We want to know a little bit more about what career path are you most interested in post the Berkeley MFE. We're talking about consulting, valuations, data science, risk management, deal structure and sales trading, quantitative research and analysis. A little bit of that we'll hear from our esteemed panelist today, Hariom Tasat, who's joined in here. Strats and modeling, portfolio management, and quantitative development. We thought that these are some of the career paths of interest that graduates of Berkeley are interested in. Which one of you, or which are some of the more famous ones we'd like to know, so that we can have some questions answered on that. Talking about questions, as I share this poll question, for the next 10 seconds only, we've got close to 45% of you that have responded. So if you cannot see a question on your screen, please click the poll button and then you will see the question, and just, share some light on what kind of work you'd like to do, what kind of career you'd like to get into. All right, I'm going to end this poll now, and I'm going to share some of these results on the screen. We can see that quantitative research and analysis as well as data science take the majority of the interest of the current folks that are here. That's close to 60% of you are interested in either data science or quantitative research and analysis, whereas consulting valuations also comes in at close to 15% of you. So thank you for sharing a little bit about your career paths. Now again, less of me and more of the speaker that we have, Mr. Hariom Dasat, who is currently the vice president in quantitative analytics at Barclays in New York. He and this whole masterclass is for us to learn a little more about application of machine learning in finance. A little bit about our speaker, Mr. Hariom. He is, as mentioned, the current VP of quantitative analytics at Barclays in New York. He's done some extensive research and experience in quant in the areas of financial instrument pricing, algorithm trading, and several other global investment banks and financial organizations. Apart from that, more importantly, he's also an alumnus of the Berkeley Horse's Masters in Financial Engineering program, and he's also completed his bachelor's in electronics or BE at IITs. So he's from one of the IITs. We'll learn a little more, about Hariom, not only about this masterclass, but a little more about his experience from IIT to Berkeley and now to New York as the VP at Barclays as well. Just adding you to the spotlight, Hariom. Thank you so much for taking out time on a busy Thursday morning, if I'd like to say. Over to you, and you can share your screen and take us through a little bit about this wonderful topic that we have, which is around application. Okay, great. I think you've already started sharing your screen. Perfect. On application of machine learning in finance. Thanks, Hariom. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sharon, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and very good. It's good to be speaking on behalf of UC Berkeley. It's been a long time since I've talked to the folks. I see that there are close to 300 participants, 400 participants. And thanks for the kind introduction. I guess you guys can see my slide.
We can, yes.
On the screen. Perfect. Yeah, so I currently work as VP at Barclays in New York. I have around 15 years of experience. Most of you guys might be into all these quantitative finance. So I've covered a decent amount of a spectrum in terms of quantitative finance. I've worked as a desk quant. Currently, I'm working as like a predictive modeling quant or a data science quant, or doing machine learning and AI and statistics. And also done stochastic calculus and Monte Carlo simulation, something which is like the traditional quant, you can call, right? So I will talk about AI and machine learning in finance. This is pretty much buzzword these days. And a couple of years back, me along with two other batchmates or folks from UC Berkeley MFE program, we wrote this book, which is on the right-hand side corner, Machine Learning Data Science Blueprint for Finance. We tried to cover multiple use cases in trading, in portfolio management, all the topics that we quant are interested in generally. And the book did pretty well so far. It's there on Amazon. You guys can check. And the idea is to go a little bit deeper into some of the use cases of AI and machine learning in finance. So the agenda, I'll quickly go through it. I mean, so why there has been an exponential growth in AI and machine learning in finance. So if you think from a quant standpoint, 10 years back, we were into that traditional quant doing stochastic calculus, machine learning, and Monte Carlo simulation, pricing derivatives, and whatnot. And there has been a recent surge of machine learning. Everybody's talking about it, and AI now with all these chat GPT and stuff, which is there in the market, or which is there on the radar of everyone. So I'll be talking about why of that, why there has been an exponential growth. Pretty much obvious, but yeah, I mean, just going deeper into it. How it is being used in finance, given I have 30 minutes, so I'll focus on some of the use cases that we are interested in as quantitative in the quantitative finance, so mostly trading and then portfolio management. I have few other use cases as well that I used to do in the as the Berkeley project, like fraud detection and credit default and all that. But yeah, I mean, if time permits, we can cover those as well, and then some futuristic scenarios to just excite and motivate you guys. And how can you go about learning AI and machine learning in finance, and what are the different roles and what are the focus areas that you guys can have? I know that I just came to know that Berkeley also has some courses on AI, machine learning in finance. When I was there in 2017, there were a few data science as well, but I guess that has evolved quite a bit, rightly so, given the demand in the market.
Sorry,
Now,
Hariam, just
going to the
before we
basic.
move on, sorry,
Yeah,
would it be possible to just make your presentation full screen for everyone to see if
sure, yeah,
that's possible?
yeah. Is it better now?
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Something happens to my screen when I make it full screen, but luckily it's working now. Okay. So why and machine learning in finance? All of you might be aware of ChatGPT, autonomous cars, and all that. What they are really good at, they are really good at capturing things at a very, very fast speed. So autonomous vehicle, it covers or captures the content almost 1,000 times compared to the human eye, and they process and act on the information in half the time compared to the humans, right? So if you think about trading, that's what you need to do if you're doing HFT and high frequency trading on all those fancy stuff, right? And it has this potential to automate and disrupt the transportation sector when we talk about autonomous vehicle. And the same thing applies to finance. In finance, in most of the use cases, you have to process and act on quite a lot of data. And that's where the value add comes into picture. And additionally, it has this potential to automate and disrupt the finance sector as well. That's what we'll see. Going a little deeper, there are a couple of advantages. So if you think about the reason for the exponential growth, I break it down into two parts. The first part is the AI/ML advantage, and then there are a couple of recent innovations, right? So what are the key advantages that we talked about in the previous slide? It processes high volume, multi-dimensional, multi-variety data very quickly. So all these three terms are very important when you think about, let's say, being a trader. What you have to do, you have to look at volumes of data. They're multidimensional. You will have sentiments and the balance sheets and whatnot, and they're multi-variety. They're not just numbers, but they're also pictures and some text these days, right? And the second point we talked about in the previous slide, potential to increase automation and decrease cost. What has been happening recently? There's a significant growth of data. So why did machine learning and AI is growing so fast and it's possible as of now? Because the data is growing significantly. Every year, the amount of data that we produce is equal to what we have produced before in the entire humanity or entire history, right? So there's a significant growth of the data. Then we have a very fast computer. That's why the Nvidia stock price is going like crazy. But what used to take like hours, it's taking seconds these days. And then we have complex AI ML algorithms which can be implemented easily. So 20 years back, something for which you had to write 5,000 lines of code that can be done in just one line of code these days. Right? So this is why there's a significant growth, and finance, of course, is not behind. So this is an example of all the banks. This like gives a bigger picture. All the banks and their valuation. So and financial, which adopted AI, it in a very small span of time, its market value is much higher compared to the Goldman's, Morgan, BlackRock, Barclays of the world. And one of the reasons being, it's adopting AI at a massive scale. So that gives you the power of AI and machine learning. And just a good point. This was not just for bank. This is also for you guys, for the professionals, for the practitioners. If you're not adopting, if you're not reinventing, there might be a situation where you might become irrelevant as what happened to Nokia. Not scaring you, but yeah, this is more to motivate you guys. What does job scenario looks like? And that's something as someone who's, let's say, going for master's program, we are concerned about. That's one of the most important things. So there are two schools of thought. People say that, yeah, job will be gone. You'll see a lot of articles on a daily basis that 2020s, for example, could be a apocalyptic decade. But at the same time, we also see that the jobs in AI and machine learning, they're growing like crazy, right? So there are reports about jobs requiring AI skills increase significantly. Finance teams, people who work well with robots, right? So it's not that the jobs will be going. That's my perspective. The new jobs will definitely be coming. It's just that you have to reinvent yourself. There'll be kind of displacement of jobs. Now, even if you look at the quant jobs, there are multiple or all these big banks, all these financial institutions, they have they are hiring for AI experts and quant who are good in machine learning kind of roles, like significantly. So there are a couple of news articles on the left-hand side. Even if you look at the right-hand side, this is something I got from one of the news articles. Yes, there are programming skills, quantitative skills, deep knowledge of financial markets. That's what you get in MFE programs like MFE, the first three. But even the fourth one, knowledge of machine learning and AI, that's been growing significantly. So there are a bunch of jobs in machine learning engineers, AI researcher, algorithmic trading strategist, not just on the sell side, meaning all the banks, but also on the buy side. So yes, there are jobs coming up. Now, I'll just give you a quick overview. I think this is something everybody might be aware of. People have all these terms which are floated across, like AI, machine learning, deep learning. But I mean, all of these can be used interchangeably. And I mean, if you look at this this picture, deep learning is a subset of ML. ML is a subset of artificial intelligence and data science. Kind of overlaps with all three of them. There's a minor difference between what AI and machine learning and deep learning is. So start from, let's say, deep learning. The rule of thumb here is if you are looking into artificial neural network with more than 3 layers, they're called they're categorized as deep learning. Then machine learning is where you find complex pattern in the data without being directed specifically. This is the most useful thing when it comes to quantitative finance. And AI is like a superset of machine learning, where you also have things like NLPs and chat GPT and whatnot. And that's also used in finance. But my take is that ML is something which is used quite significantly in quantitative finance. Now, this slide is overwhelming, but it will give you a bigger picture of how it is being used in different use cases. What are the different types of machine learning? So we have supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So supervised is where you have some output you're predicting. You have, let's say, output as 0 or 1, which is classification. We have output as the stock price of Apple. What should be the stock price of Apple next day, which is regression. And obviously, I mean, this is one of the most used kind of machine learning currently in finance. Why? Because there are many use cases which can be well defined. So if you think about fraud detection, whether a transaction is fraud or not, right? Credit scoring, whether a person will default or not. Those are typical prediction problem classification, 0, 1. And even if you think about algo trading, you predict whether the price will go up or down, and depending on that, you build your strategy. Depending on that, you have some rules around it, whether the price will go up or down, right? So same is the case with regression. You predict the Apple's stock price tomorrow, and depending on that, you make some rules. It's also being used in derivative pricing. Then we have unsupervised learning. The idea of unsupervised learning is where you don't predict, but you learn pattern from unlabeled data. There's a lot of data. You're trying to make sense out of it. What should be the best way to reduce dimension or group the data? And these are the two categories where you reduce the dimension. Again, used significantly in finance because the volume of data is huge. And then we have clustering, which is the grouping of the data for analysis of, let's say, the different kind of assets which behave similarly or which move similarly, or in portfolio management, what are the different groups of the clients or the investors which look similar. Then reinforcement learning, we have, this is something which is kind of new kid on the block, but very powerful. Here, it's currently being used in algo trading. The idea is that you just learn from experiences. It's completely automated, meaning that you give the data, you ask the algorithm that, hey, you need to maximize your risk-adjusted return. And it trains all by itself. Think of it like a trader's brain, trains all by itself. And it gives you a model which you can feed the data, and it will spit out buy, sell, or hold, and give you a trading strategy. And then we have NLP, natural language processing. It is more like AI. We know the use case. We have seen things like chat GPT, but in trading, it's generally sentiment analysis. You look at the news, Twitter feeds, and you develop a sentiment, 0 or 1, on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10, and then you feed it into a trading strategy. And it's obviously used for multiple use cases. So I guess this is one of the most important slides of providing the details about what are the different areas where machine learning is being used. And then if on the left-hand side, we have different use cases of AI and machine learning in finance. On the right-hand side, you see all of these companies, which are in different space, algo trading, customer service, KYC, sales and marketing, wealth management, and all that. And they have started using AI and machine learning, especially after this chat GPT, right? And this is just for India, and same is the case for like US. It's even on a steroid, the use of AI and machine learning in finance over here, right? As somebody who will be, let's say, joining MFE, the key areas can be algo trading and wealth management, apart from, of course, fraud detection and then credit scoring. So I'll quickly deep dive into, so you understand. Okay, so let's quickly go deeper into why it is being used. I think we talked about it. It can process high-dimensional multivariety data quickly, and it has the automation capability, decrease the cost, add more efficiency. Now, if you look at algo trading, and let's focus on this for this session. So when it comes to data processing and handling, uh, as I mentioned earlier, we need to handle large amount of data, different kinds of data, and unstructured data. So if you see the first bullet point, when it comes to trading, almost 80% of the data is unstructured. So, and AI and deep learning algorithms are really good at understanding these massive data sets. Different variety of data, like text or image, machine learning and AI are generally good at. Then unsupervised learning to reduce the dimensionality. You have thousands of features. How do you come with like just 2 or 3, which are the most important part? You use things like dimensionality reduction, then NLP for new sentiments. The key thing that it does is it provides you the tool to find that needle in that haystack, right? You have to find that signal in the noise when it comes to algo trading. And if you have all these tools, which can work on unstructured data, reduce the dimensionality, and find the complex relationship, it becomes easier for you to apply these and find that signal when it comes to algo trading. Then we have trading bots. We talked about that traders brain in reinforcement learning. And although I'm going through it, I mean, I encourage you guys to go deeper into this. Maybe you can refer to my book, or there are multiple resources, different papers, and everything about the use of ML. I find it really interesting, and that's kind of growing. Everybody is adopting it, right? Then the speed, of course, because AI with AI model, you can adapt very quickly and adjust the trades. You also end up eliminating human error because you are doing the data-driven approach. Of course, there'll be some bias, but the bias kind of reduces a little bit compared to if you're doing like a manual trade, and the machine learning makes the bias slightly less. So I think we covered this. How do we use for trading? Supervised, unsupervised reinforcement, and natural language processing. I think I covered all these points. So I'll quickly skip this. Now, futuristic scenario, not to scare anyone, but this was UBS trading floor in 2008, pre-subprime crisis. A lot of people you see in the movies, the typical trading floor, people are shouting and bidding and whatnot. In 2016, because of the quant trading mostly, with all these statistics and faster computer, I see the number of people and the number of desks reduced to 10%. And going forward, I mean, with this is not true as of now. I mean, this is just a speculation. But yeah, going forward, there's a chance that there might be all these AI-based automated trading. There might be hardly traders. It might mostly be all these data centers and GPUs and whatnot. So you should be preparing for this kind of situation. Maybe portfolio management, I will skip. But yeah, I mean, it comes to wealth management. I mean, most of you guys might also be interested in wealth management. All these portfolio management companies who are quants. Even there, I think one of the key problem statement is how do you allocate the money of the client or the investors into well-diversified portfolio. So there are multiple approaches, the traditional finance, mean variance analysis and whatnot. And these days, people have also started using machine learning. So there are a couple of machine learning based approaches. The advantage of that is that it is not subject to a lot of assumptions that you generally see in all these traditional models. And of course, I mean, the advantages that I mentioned, it can process data really fast and it can have goal-based allocation and things like that. There are multiple advantages. Apart from that, it's also used for investment research and then chatbots, ChatGPT kind of stuff. People are training things like ChatGPT on the wealth, all of the investors' data to give them knowledge and also allocate the portfolio. So all these fancy stuff that's happening. There are a lot of companies which are coming up in this space. And just to keep you guys excited, I mean, the futuristic scenario would be you have your voice recognition applications. You just mentioned, ask them that how much should I invest to get, let's say, 5,000 per month after retirement. It may be linked to your account. It looks at the entire portfolio, also looks at what's happening in the market, and then gives you some kind of indication that, hey, you should invest this much amount in equities, this much amount in fixed income investments and all that. So these interesting times, I hope, or I guess, I'm going to come very soon. So I'll skip some of the slides in the interest of time, lending and credit scoring, and maybe I'll share this later. But coming to the key point, how can you learn machine learning in finance? Of course, there are some courses and sessions that will be there in the MFE program as well. But I mean, while we were writing this book, why we wrote this book, some of the reasons were these, like there were a lot of books in AI machine learning, but it was not customized to finance. Like the machine learning which is used in finance is slightly different. It might not be that cutting edge that you need for ChatGPT. It might just be a simpler one where you need to find, or you need to figure out a way to find that needle in haystack. There were many use cases in all the literature that we looked at. There were many use cases covered. There were mostly trading which was covered, and many other use cases were skipped, be it credit scoring, portfolio management. So we tried to cover like the breadth. Then there are a lot of unstructured material. Let's say in 2017, when I tried to find something in machine learning in finance, there were a lot of papers and I got lost, right? So needed some structured material, right? And that's what was one of the reasons we wrote this book. And then the material that you will see are either too theoretical, which will be into too much of equations, or too general, like very high level. So we wanted to hit the sweet spot and cover both this aspect, not just theoretical, but also something which is very, very practical. So when you are, let's say, doing some courses or trying to learn AI machine learning in finance, I think the focus should be customized to finance. Yes, you can go and read about encoder, decoder, and whatnot, all these fancy stuff. But at the same time, don't deviate quite a lot from what's the practical use case in finance. Also try to cover multiple use cases within trading itself. I gave you a couple of examples in supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning and whatnot. So you try to cover the breadth as well. Try to have some structure around how you're studying. Yes, you can go through a lot of concepts, but having the right structure is important. And then the practical material that should be applied to the real life situation, that's very important. Yes, you can go through the theories and look at different papers, but unless and until you apply it, get your hands dirty, it's somewhat difficult to learn. But and it's not that difficult to learn or get your hands dirty with all these GitHub repos and material available these days. So yeah, I think we are close to completion or close to the time. But yeah, I'll just give you like quick takeaway. You see all these scary posts or scary news that jobs will be gone. But at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of jobs coming up, my take, in AI, especially in finance. So if you're able to reinvent yourself, I'm sure, I mean, things will be easier for you guys going forward. So yeah, not to scare you again, but just leaving on a positive note, just reinvent yourself before it's too late. Yeah, that's it from me. Any questions?
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hariom. We've got quite a few questions. I know Dan has responded to some of them already in the chat. I'm just going to quickly add myself to Spotlight, and I'm going to quickly add Dan as well. Maybe you can stop share screen, Hariom, if you're okay with that. Superb. All right. Great. So we did have quite a few questions. Diane, as mentioned, has answered quite a bit of those. I'm going to take one non admissions related questions. Very interesting questions come here from Shreyant Ghosh, and he asked, "Is AI always reliable for quantitative market research and risk analysis? Like, with the fast changing market and stuff like that, how is AI predicting stuff in the market to mitigate biases and so on and so forth?"
Yeah, the short answer to that is no. AI is not always predictable. I mean, and the same was the case with the statistical models, traditional finance as well. Even if you know all these statistical concepts, you are not sure that you will be able to make money or you will be able to, let's say, find out that signal. The idea is how well you use it. It just provides you the tool. It provides you a better way to, or augmented way on top of all these statistical and machine learning tools to find that needle in the haystack. When if you look at the current hedge funds, they're using statistics, but let's say 50% of them are not making decent amount of money, and there are few like Renaissance Technology, which is making 60% for the last 20 years. So something they're doing well. So it's more about using it correctly and using it well rather than just using it.
Awesome. I think that should answer Shreyant and his question as well. Again, little before I answer ask some questions about Berkeley MFE program to Dan, wanted in brief to understand, Hariom, your journey. I know we've spoken a little bit about your expertise in machine
Mhm.
learning, AI, and its application in finance, but a little bit about your journey from IIT Kharagpur to what kind of roles that you did, and how did you land up in the world of finance, stumbling upon Berkeley's MFE. Little bit about that, because a lot of folks here from IITs, NITs, BITS, and such colleges in this 280 worth of an audience. And any tips for you so that they could also build a career in the US just like you have?
Right. So my journey started in India. Of course, I divide my journey into two parts. One would be parts where the India and Dubai, I worked there sometime, and then the US, right? That was pre and post MFE. So after graduating from IIT, I went to a couple of banks, worked for Nomura, worked for RBS, that was in India. And there I was a traditional quant, so worked on risk models, pricing models, used derivative pricing, Monte Carlo simulation, and all these stuff. Martingale approaches and all that. I don't know, I'm throwing all these technical terms. I'm assuming the guys are aware of it. And then I went to Dubai. Dubai, I was desk quant. I used to sit next to the traders and answer their questions related to, okay, what should be the assumption for this model, why this number is coming different. And it was mostly into the pricing models. They had to quote things to the brokers or quote the number in the market. And they were used to come to us that, hey, are we applying the right model? What's the assumption? Is this number correct? So it was mostly on the pricing model in rates and equities. So just me and there was one more guy, and we used to handle close to 15 traders, and it was hectic. Then I decided, let's try MFE. I mean, the work was pretty good, but you always have this ambition or this thing in the mind that you want to make maximum impact, work in developed market, and then do something, let's say in the US, UK, or all these developed markets. So that after 8 years of working in India, that I was like just motivated to join MFE. I mean, one of the best programs ever. It was 1 year program, really hectic, but I got to learn quite a lot there. Met amazing people with whom I ended up writing books. And the career changed, I would say, significantly. Then I joined Barclays here, and the kind of quantitative approach or techniques that I used to apply before that completely changed. So now I start doing data science, machine learning, predictive modeling, no more stochastic calculus and all. Not that I don't like those things. It's just that this is something which is more in these days. So yeah, I mean, I started doing it, loving it so far. So in the process, I wrote this book that also got really good traction. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I've been invited to conferences and speak on the book and things like that. And all the connections that I made at UC Berkeley, that proved to be really useful. I found my co-authors, and still even if and they're really good friends. Even I have some personal issue, I just call them. So yeah, so the journey has been rewarding. Journey has been good, difficult at times, but fun.
Sure. Thanks for that. Little bit on that journey as well. We're just waiting for Dan also to come in to answer some questions around the admissions. But I'd like to quickly ask you, Hariom, about Indian students coming out of a program from the IITs or elsewhere.
Mhm.
Always have a concept of placements. I know in the
Yeah.
US, it's not very common to have a placement process, but if you can throw some light on, what are some of the resources that in Berkeley had provided you or provide today for students after they graduate, pursue like a career, maybe somewhere in finance
You're asking before or after?
after the graduation?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the journey starts even before, right? So there are
Yeah.
pre-programmed courses, which are really relevant. So as you enter the program, after let's say 1 or 2 months, the companies start coming for internship, right? So you need to prepare yourself well when even in the pre-programmed courses, and those pre-programmed courses, at least at the time when I was there, covered most important foundational stuff: maths, coding, and finance, right? These
Sure.
were the three things that was covered. And at the same time, there used to be something called Red Book and Green Book, which was the question Q&A books, as in interview question books. So that gives you really good perspective, and that was really helpful. Apart from that, I mean, you have to be really hands-on these days. So just make sure that you do really good projects, you understand where the market is going, machine learning, AI, data science kind of stuff, which is in demand these days. And after graduation, luckily, I got an internship just like 2, 3 months. I was into the program, and that converted into a full time at Barclays. But I know my friends, some of my friends, they have been getting a lot of support from the MFE
Mm.
program. And I mean, these guys work day in and day out to find out the companies, reach out to all the alumni, and get the right resource, circulate it to the folks, align the interest of the students with the kind of jobs which are there in the market. So all these support system I used to get. Additionally, or we used to get, and additionally, there is a very good alumni pool. Your
Mm.
even the batchmates will be even if let's say they are placed in some company, they'll of course call you that hey, there's a role in my team. And same is the thing with alumni. So alumni network is really strong. Berkeley is one of the best schools all over the world, right? So that really helps. Additionally, I think we also got the details in the list of headhunters who are
Sure.
there in different geographies all across the world. So US, Europe, Asia, India. So we had the list of the headhunters. That there was Excel sheet at that point of time, which was given to us just in case you want to reach out to them. So yeah, it was really helpful.
Super. So, that really covers not only Hariom's journey, but overall, what are some of the career, opportunities that Berkeley has for some of their alum. As we still wait for Diane to come in to ask some questions about the program and about the eligibility and stuff like that. I know that this might not be part of what we discussed earlier, Hariom, but I wanted to understand a little bit about the course itself, at Berkeley's MFE, because the eligibility for students to apply requires them to know some bit of programming languages and stuff like that. I was hoping you can throw some light on what are some of the skills that students should have before they decide to take up a program like Berkeley's MFE.
Yeah, I think prerequisites are well mentioned by the program itself. There's a pre-program course, so you should, because it's a short program, 1 year, and the companies just start coming after 2, 3 months. The program starts, so it's very important to do those pre-program courses really well, and the program prepares you for those pre-program courses really well. So those are the most foundational stuff, as I mentioned, Python, as in coding, the quant finance, and then the financial concepts, right? Those are the things which are important, and at the same time, the interview preparation, all these red books, green books, and whatnot, right? So those are the things which might be needed. So I think that's the prerequisite. Diane can tell you the prerequisite pretty well. But yeah, I mean, having some quantitative knowledge, some background in terms, and additionally the motivation, I guess, were the key things which might be needed. Yeah.
Superb. So just on that note, Dan, a lot of questions, and I know you've answered most of them, through the chat and in your presentation. But just wanted to get some bit of reiteration on if a student has studied finance in his or her undergrad, what are some of the courses that he or she could do in order to be eligible to apply for starters? And on the other periphery, for someone who studied an engineering degree, what are some of the things that he or she must do in order to be eligible to apply? And also a little bit about, and folks like me have done a 3-year bachelor's degree in India. So if I had to apply to Berkeley's MFE, do I have to do a 4th year? And what are some of the skills that you recommend Indian students to pick up while they apply to Berkeley's MFE?
Yeah, great question here. It's so for any particular candidate, if you're coming purely from finance, purely from engineering, or any particular area, every single student will have to prepare. You need to take the preparation. So the foundation of being well prepared for our program is the prerequisite courses. So for someone who's coming from a finance background, they're going to need to prepare the math, take the partial differential equations, numerical analysis. They'll need to take more advanced statistics courses. And then, of course, the programming side, they'll need to take more courses in Python, C++, and some machine learning too. On the engineering side, they're probably going to come with a lot of math and some programming. They'll need to work on the finance preparation, taking, a course in finance, a macroeconomics, a CFA would be great preparation. CFA level 1, they don't have to do the full 3 series. And then, of course, there is there's also going to be sorry, 1 second, I don't know why there's So there's also going to be the candidates who are coming with a math or statistics background. Those folks will need to prepare the finance preparation, the programming, and in some cases, they may need to also make sure that they take the numerical analysis and partial differential equations. And almost in all cases, all of our candidates will need to prepare in one way or another. We will give them a list of things that they need to prepare. But if they know in advance that these are the courses that they need to take, it is encouraged that they start prepping. And we have provided a variety of resources for candidates to ensure that they take all of these courses.
Sure. So just to summarize, I think Diane has mentioned it very clearly. Regardless of what background you've come from, there is a lot of prep that you'll need to do in order to be eligible to apply. All the information is listed on Berkeley's MFE website, which we highly encourage that you look at. We've mentioned it earlier in the chat as well. And yes, I think we're bang on time. We finished exactly an hour from when we started, and I'd like to take this opportunity very quickly to thank Hariom Tastat, who's Tatsat, my apologies, who has taken time from his busy morning, and to Diane as well, who has patiently answered a lot of these questions. For folks that have come in late or had to go earlier, we've got this recording on YouTube. We'll send you a message tomorrow with all this information. For everything else, I know, and I've read through Berkeley's MFE, website myself, so it is extremely well explained. Any kind of questions you have, we would recommend that you first go through the website and then reach out to the team. Once again, Hariom, thank you so much for your time. Diane, thank you as well. And just before you go, any quick last piece of advice, Hariom, for applicants from India?
Yeah, I mean, just stay motivated. I think that's what is the most important thing. And in case you are planning to join MFP, I mean, yes, it's a rigorous program, but it will definitely be life changing. So just stay motivated and keep doing your best.
Thanks, Hariom. Sorry, Dan, to put you on the spot right now, but if you had to give everyone watching one quick application tip to improve their chances to get into this wonderful program at Berkeley.
I think that you want to pay attention to the prerequisite and review the resources that we have provided in order to help you prepare. That is going to be the best resource for you as a candidate. We have vetted several courses and there are many options. Now, if you have questions after the session, I know it's 1 hour is quite short sometimes. Feel free to email us. We have our next information session is going to be in February. Or we're just available for our chat, and you can make appointments with us beforehand to talk with our admissions advisor. We're very hands-on. We work very closely with our candidates and even closer with those who have been recommended into the program, as Hariom can testify to that there.
Yeah. Great.
Super. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, Dan, there are some questions about scholarships, about GMAT score, average GRE score, etc., etc. And I think that, yes, there are, just to quickly answer, yes, there are some scholarships available. More information on the website. The average GMAT, GMAT is the requirement, but it's not the be all and end all of your chances of getting in. More information on that on the website, and you can reach out to the wonderful admissions team at Berkeley who will give you all that information and meet some alumni like Hariom online for you to get some tips. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I know it's late in India and it's the middle of the day for where you folks are back in North America. So thank you so much for taking our time, and we wish you all the best. And once again, thank you, Hariom and Diane.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.